Hail, Nerdrotics. How's everybody doing tonight? And I'm going to slowly fade the music for you like a good DJ would. Bring it on down. How's it going, everyone? Well, today was a day of lessons. Lessons learned, hard lessons learned, but at least they were learned. And I just put out a video, and a little inside baseball. Every time I put out a Rotten Tomatoes video, it does pretty well. My latest one got absolutely crushed, and I figured out why. That word for the person who doesn't get laid, and they tried to pin it on the Joker thing, I guess is one of those bugaboo words with YouTube. So, lesson learned. I probably should have bleeped them all out because I said it repeatedly. And that's the only thing I could think of because it got crushed. So I'm going to leave it up for a little while. I might pull it down and put it on Nerdrotic Live. I don't know. Or just leave it up. We do have a Mandalorian trailer dropping tonight. So I will be doing a reaction for that. We're going to go up until, I think it's going to come out probably during Monday Night Football, probably at halftime. I've got my son watching the sports ball, which he does anyway. It's not like he's doing it on my orders. And he's going to pop in and let me know. Hail, everyone. Let's see who we've got in the chat today. And I know the Nerdrotic Nooners are going to be on schedule. Okay, this one got put off by that goddamn video that didn't do well. But there you go. And I also wanted to wait until I hit 150 subs. So this is going to be kind of the mini celebration. We're going to do the main one on Wednesday. And I asked Doomcock if we could put the Exozone on Tuesday so I can do a 150,000 sub thing on Wednesday, which is the day before my wedding anniversary. I almost knocked something over. So yeah, I got to figure out how many years have I been married? How many years has it been since 2013? So what? Okay. So this year is 2003. I mean, so 16 years. Wow. Goddamn. Sweet 16. Let's see who we got in the chat. Welcome, everybody. I got to move the chat over here. And we've got Don John Sean, Disabled Llama, Shinto Ketchup, Dave Bob, Brody 36, Moons of Madness, Thomas Preston, Super Anime Gamer. Okay, Super Anime Gamer number 1. Who's number 2? Alex Kirk, Viking Turtle, me, here, you, there. Dionysia X, Dionys, I probably said that wrong, sorry. But hail, Thomas Preston, I've said that already. Lori Wilson, and Apocrypha, I know that one. Robot Beast, Alex Kirk, and Bird of Prey 5, Kapla, Mark Lurzeth, and Mary Ashmead. What's up, Mary? How's it going? Looks like the crew's all here. So, yeah, I hit 150,000 subscribers. 1 year ago at this time, I had about 5,000 or 6,000. So it's been quite a year. And it keeps going. I cannot explain what the explosion was for the last week. I've actually, content-wise, have put out some of the least content I've put out in a long time. Maybe that's it. I've only been doing like a video every 3 or 4 days. But yeah, thank you. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the party. And David, I see you're here, man. But I'm going to mess up your last name. Gagnon? Dave Gagnon. He's here. Justin Proper is here. What's up? So are we using our real name now? We're not going to be Proper Jeremy? Is there some drama I need to know about? I hope not. Rhaegar Targaryen, what is up, my friend? Words are wind, brother. Words are wind. Yeah, I got some Game of Thrones news. I don't know if I can share it, though, quite yet, Rhaegar, but you will be the first to know. My Song of Ice and Fire, brother. My one purchase at New York Comic Con was to George R.R. Martin. I guess I'm still a fan. And thank you for all the congratulations. Hello, Chris Persia. Thank you for being a wrench forever. And everybody, give it up to my wrenches. They put up with a lot of crap and very little communication from me, which that's going to change soon. By the way, oh crap. I'll have to do it after the live stream. I have to call Anas's people. So a little update on Anas Abdeen. We got 20,000 like a long time ago. It hit the goal and it was great. You guys are wonderful. Thank you very much. I am working on getting that money to Anas. The minute that happens, you will know about it. Again, it will not hit my bank account, my fingertips, nothing. I don't want to touch it. That was my first GoFundMe. Probably, the next one I do will probably be for me, for the comic shop, but that's way down the road. Father Christopher Miller, hail to you, sir. Everybody watch your language. We have an actual father here. Father. I mean, not this kind of father. Darkstar 57, what's up? It's good to have Mary Ashmead here. So let's get to Disney Star Wars versus Disney Star Wars. This is something, honestly, I hadn't thought about until I was watching a Robert Meyer Burnett live stream, and he brought it up. And I think it's very interesting. There is the logical explanations for this is they're launching D+. They've had this date for a long time. There's been a lot of delays with the Star Wars movies. They were initially supposed to be released in May, but now they're all being released in Christmas, around Christmas. But I have to question why you would disrespect the end of the Skywalker saga. I mean, more than they already have, by releasing something along with it. I don't know how good of an idea this is. I mean, they have to try it sometime, I guess. But at the end of the Skywalker saga, are you trying to, I don't know, misdirect? Are you trying to, I'll look at it from a YouTuber's perspective. If you put out a video that doesn't do that well, you just you put out another video. Is that what they're doing? I'm not sure. But it's very interesting that we're going to have competing Star Wars. I think there's very little doubt that The Mandalorian is going to be a lot better, and it's going to, I mean, there's plenty of oxygen out there for Star Wars fans, but I think it's going to suck a lot of it up being weekly. And if it's good, it's going to take a lot of attention away from Rise of Skywalker. Maybe that's what Disney wants. But Doomcock put out a great video today talking about how Disney is putting all the Fox classic films in the vault. And I 100% agree with his assessment on that. Is they see anything as competition. And if they see anything as competition, why are they competing against themselves? Especially when Rise of Skywalker is going to have serious competition. Not any film that I think is going to beat it. Don't get me wrong. But Jumanji 2 is coming out. I'm interested in seeing that. I like the first one a lot. Karen Gillan, go Doctor Who. But we'll see. We'll have to see on that one. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let's get to good old comicbook.com. The shilliest of the shill. Oh, there's an Indiana Jones deep fake with Tom Selleck. Might have to actually watch that. That looks pretty cool. Let me get to the news here. So, yeah, I'm really kind of bummed out. That kind of pissed on my parade a little bit, but I'm still very happy that we passed 150,000 subscribers. That was you guys. This channel was built on a lot of things, but live streams was one of them. That's all I did for the first 3 years was live streams. There is a couple people out there who've been around, Penn Farm Girl, Brian Smart, who've been around for a long time and knew for the first year, I didn't even realize there was a chat that you could go to. Star Wars 9 leaks Solo may confirm rumored ending for The Rise of Skywalker. Do we want to read now? The Mandalorian contains a major Star Wars spoiler for the first episode. You know, it's funny. There was a bunch of articles today stating that The Rise of Skywalker was not projecting very well. And the Access Media can't make up their mind, because last night it was projecting better than anything. A few nights ago, it was breaking records, and now it's not projecting higher. And Forbes came out, and I'm doing a video on this. Forbes did an article where, I mean, it's freaking mental gymnastics to the T. So it's not going to open as well as the previous films, but it can still do better. You got to love Scotty Mendelson. I don't think I've ever done a Scotty Mendelson video, so it is time. That will be tomorrow morning. Tomorrow afternoon is my Watchmen review. Wednesday morning will be my Dark Fate review. Spoilers, it sucks. Not going to say how I watched it. Not going to say how I watched it, but I'm sure you can guess. Let me get over here. Wow. Holy crap. Okay. Well, I want to get to chat and super chat. So we're going to kind of go back and forth here. Disabled Llama, Australian $2. Congratulations. 150K. Gary. Good day. Thank you. Thank you, Disabled Llama. That was more Kiwi. I'm like Doomcock. I go into Kiwi voice. Adam Child for $20. Congratulations on 150K. Thank you all for the joy you have given me. I sent you an email about the Cats meetup in DEC in December. Yes, in December. When do I need to send you money for tickets? I'll be in SF between 19th and 21st. Gary, you're the best. Thank you very much. Okay, so Adam Child, you won't have to send me money for tickets. We are going to see it at the Empire. We're not going to go down to the Metreon. We're going to see it in the Empire. Because I think I can score some tickets without anybody paying for anything. I got to hook up. So we will talk about that. I will respond to your email. Thank you once again, Adam Child, for $2 more. You are the hero. Stop holding out for yourself. I'm just a guy. I'm just a guy. That's it. Not very, I mean, like I'm average intelligence, average everything pretty much. But that's okay. I'm okay with that. Considering where I was in life, I will take it. Richard Ford for $2. I got nachos. Have a chip. 150K. Dude, I would totally take some nachos right now. Nachos sound really good. I think that's what I'm having for dinner tonight. I've got a little taco shop down the street in the hood, right next to the smoke shop, right next to the bar where multiple people have been shot. Yeah. Matt G for $1. Thank you very much. Thank you for the donation. RR, $1.99. Congratulations. Keep fighting the good fight. I will. It is, it gets grinding once in a while, though. I mean, usually not much gets me down, but reviewing Batwoman last night, I'm done. I don't care if I'm giving up clicks. I just can't watch that anymore. And again, it's not that, I mean, it's woke, but you know, we expected that. It's what we expected. It's bad CW woke feelings in hallways. Man, bye-bye. I've got bigger fish to fry. Christopher Miller, Father Christopher Miller for $2, 150K, and there was so much rejoicing. Yay! Thank you. Thank you. I feel blessed, Father. Maticus Finch, 1820 for $5. Congrats on your amazing year, Gary. You are my favorite member of the Fandom Menace and my favorite channel. Keep up the great work. I always know I can trust you. Well, I will try not to screw that up. Thank you very much, Maticus Finch. Trek Dog for £10.99. Hail, Gary. Congrats on 150K. Great car video. Oh, I'm glad you guys saw the car video. If you haven't seen the car video, it's over at Nerdrotic Live. I am defending the honor of the great John Pertwee. Do not F with John Pertwee, you SJW twit. Just missing some toxic V8 engine sounds once in a while. Keep the good food down, and it will be a 300K in no time. Yours truly, Trek Dog. Thank you. Unfortunately, I couldn't keep the bad food down the other day, which threw me off my schedule. Yeah, so the car video, I'll link that in the description. I don't know if everybody pays attention to the community section. I do stories and posts in the community section all the time. I don't know how many people actually see those. I don't know how successful they are or if it's worth it, but I do it anyway. Oh my God, I don't want to hear myself. And we will post the car video. And please subscribe to Nerdrotic Live. That is the backup channel, just in case anything happens there. We will do this. That is the car video. I should have put car video in it, but I just posted it. You can check it out later. Save that link. It's good to see Mary Ashby in here. Wes Moody. Oh, it just jumped on me. Damn it. Wes Moody. Hail Gary for 525. Thank you. I am trying to get to 150,000 subs by the weekend. Only 149,974 to go. Would love a shout out. Keep up the good work and congrats on 150K. Wes Moody, dude, you got it, brother. All right, let's go to your channel there. Wes Moody. He's moody. I mean, like, he's true to his name. He's got some moods. He's got some thoughts on Batwoman here. So again, this is Wes Moody. Go give him, check him out. And there you go. Boom. Thanks. I also, while we're at it, we have to go to see how Geeky Candy's doing. We shouted her out earlier. Come on. Why is she not coming up there? Come on, YouTube. You disappoint me. YouTube, you disappoint me. We will go to Twitter instead. I know she was almost at 1,000 subscribers, and that's Candice. She's been around here. Oh, look at this. She got to. Oh, we got to show this off. Candice got to. And this is going to be some awesome producing here. There we go. Candice makes it to 1,000. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. That's awesome. See, we have the Fandom Menace is growing every day. It's a nice, diverse place with diverse voices, diverse thoughts, which is rare these days. And it's a good place to be. And it's also a testament to the Fandom Menace that they have tried all the tactics that they've tried with other groups like Gamergate and even CG to a certain extent. I have no problem with CG. I've been watching CG for a long time. Big fan of your boy Zach. And a lot of stuff just can't stick to us. And the reason is Fandom Menace came out of Star Wars, which has already a huge following. And the Fandom Menace is giant. It is got a lot of people and a lot of new YouTubers every day. So if I miss any of you, please contact me via Gary@nerdrotic.com. Pester me. My DMs at Twitter are tough. Don't even bother DMing me on the Facebook group because I don't even see it. But hit me up on the email and I'll shout you guys out as much as possible, and we can see if we can get you into the rotation for Friday Night Tights. Friday Night Tights is going to be for Fandom Menace members and non-Fandom Menace. It's not exclusively for Fandom Menace. We don't gatekeep here. And it's going to be, we'll occasionally bring on people who completely disagree with me, but we have it's a place for geeks and gamers, people to come on. Maybe some of the folks you haven't seen that often. We're going to get Mark in here soon. I just booked Stephen Walton, the author for the Phantom Menace book, for this Friday. Geeky was on last Friday, and it was a great show, if I do say so myself. Right. Whoops. I pressed the wrong button. I hate it when I do that. So congratulations, Geeky. Or Candice. I'll say Candice. Right. But I do want to get back to Star Wars news. So, as I was saying, there was a lot of Star Wars news over the last 24 hours saying that it was not performing as well. And then Mandalorian trailer drops. Or it could drip. I mean, it depends on how it is. I have a feeling, I don't know. I'm trying to keep an open mind about The Mandalorian. I know what it is. It is a big apology to fandom. It is a major attempt to get some of the old fans back. And it might work, but it's still going to be Disney. They're still going to package their politics in it. And as you know, this is going to go into my Terminator Dark Fate review. But Hollywood feels like they need to make up for something. And they need to work a lot of stuff out. Hollywood needs an HR department. But what they're trying to do is virtue signal their not their apology, their amends. They're trying to virtue signal their amends, which tells you that they're just superficial to begin with. And they're also trying to sell it back to us. So basically, everything, kill the past if you have to. Everything before was bad. Toxic masculinity, misogyny. We can't have any straight white actors in anything. And if we did have a straight white actor who was a beloved character, like, I don't know, Luke Skywalker, Spock, Captain Kirk, the Doctor, or even a character that was compelling that people liked, like, for instance, Rorschach now in The Watchmen. Again, he's not a good guy. Okay, let's make that clear. Rorschach, not a good guy, but one with fierce moral integrity and a character that the fans liked. A lot of the fans. We're going to shit on these characters to help build up our new characters, and we're going to package it up and sell it back to those very fans who like those characters. And that's what's going on here. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Do I think The Rise of Skywalker is going to make $2 billion? No, I don't. It'll make $1 billion easy. I think that'll happen. I don't think it's going to play well in China. I just don't. What was the response to The Last Jedi? It's filled with a bunch of old, ugly people, and it just bombed hard. They're going to need China to get $2 billion. The Joker might not need China, but the Joker is a phenomenon. It's the sleeper hit of the year. And it's nice to see that it's the biggest hit of the year. Boop, 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 boop. But let's get back here. Okay, Mary Ashmead. Mary Ashmead, I just lost you there. Mary Ashmead for $10, which you're not supposed to do, by the way. You know that. Gary, I feel really bad for not being here lately. I don't know when your nooners are, when they are used to be one at noon before. I have been here since 500 subs and will stay forever. You rock, 150K. Yeah, the nooners have been suffering because of all the other commitments I have, but no longer. No longer. They are coming back to Monday and Wednesday, and they are here to stay. We're going to be doing Nooners Monday, Wednesday, and then, I got to get the Friday thing kind of back going as well. But thank you, Marion. Thank you for your wrench. I greatly appreciate it. Hiroshi Score for 50 Mexican dollars. Congratulations on 150K. Have a coffee on me. Keep up the honest and great work. I will do my very best. I will. All right, let's get to that Star Wars. I'll read a little bit of this. Why the hell not? Oh, what does that say? Oh, well, what? What's this one? Okay, we're going to have to go to this one first. Because it's Game of Thrones related. So we'll get to the Star Wars one next. Hang on just a second. There we go. All right. And then we'll get back to you. Get rid of these ads. I'm just going off the headline, folks. So let's see what this has to say. This is from Danny. He spells it with an I. D. Placido. Maybe it's placebo. Showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss confirmed the worst suspicions of the fan base. What, they didn't give a crap, or they got tired at the end? They lost focus? Listen, there is no doubt they were on their game for the first 4 seasons, and for the last 4, they were not. For whatever reason, I'm sorry, I didn't write it, but this is usually, that's sometimes... You got to be, when you get that successful, you got to think of it, you got to, in the realm of sports ball. Michael Jordan, he probably competes to this day. He probably wants to bake a better cake than his wife. He's probably always going to be that way. And honestly, that's not a fulfilling life. That's not a satisfying life. That sucks. But it helped him in what he did. He was a stone cold killer. The guy was cold blooded. And he wanted to win every time. And that's kind of what you need when you have, for a showrunner, a big showrunner. I think a lot of people get success and they're like, I'm going to chill. you know, if George R.R. Martin hadn't, started this epic fantasy series and wrote himself into a corner, I was forgiving of him for a long time. He had worked for a long time in the industry and he had earned his, big payday. But you got to deliver, buddy. You got to deliver. After the disastrous final seasons of Game of Thrones, which left many fans furious at the flat conclusion to an epic story, writers, showrunners David Benioff and D.B. Weiss have been extremely quiet, even going so far as to cancel their scheduled appearance at Comic-Con. Did this come out today? Yeah, it came out today. Interesting. At this point, every single scene, character, or lack thereof, and poorly planned plot points has been thoroughly dissected and dismissed by disappointed fans, or dismissed by disappointed fans and critics and YouTubers. Hey, what's the link go to? Better not be porn. He goes to Lindsay Ellis. Well, she did get a million hits. All right, I'm okay with that.
So,
she's better looking than me too. Blame fell squarely on the shoulders of Benioff and Weiss, with Game of Thrones fans recognizing that the sudden shift in quality was entirely due to decisions made in the writing room, and were generally mature enough to blame the actors. What? And were generally mature enough not to blame the actors or the crew members. Benioff and Weiss are due to tackle Star Wars next, so we should wish them and their future cast and crew good luck. But Benioff and Weiss emerged from the public hibernation to attend a panel at the Austin Film Festival and finally answered some questions from fans. The two were brutally honest, essentially admitting that they were never fully qualified for the job from the beginning. My God, I need to be doing a video on this. What? That's what Christy was trying to tell me this morning. Heroic Twitter user for Aria documented the Q&A session, and much of it reads like satire written by a furious Game of Thrones fan. Benioff and Weiss aren't sure why George R. R. Martin entrusted them to this magnum opus, and the two didn't have any comparable experience or even appreciation of the book themes. Needle and pen. They are describing their pitch and how nervous they were. They pitched to Carolyn Strauss, who has a reputation of being a tough pitch. They were very nervous because of how bad we wanted it. Needle and pen. Again, David is describing a pre-meeting with George R. R. Martin, who was questioning their bona fides, and we didn't really have any. We had never done TV, and we didn't have any. We don't know why he trusted us with his life's work. My God! Wow. Jesus. Are you guys sitting down for this? It seems that the two men aimed for a moonshot and somehow hit their target, suddenly tasked with retelling an immensely complex story without fully understanding it. In fact, Benioff once said, "Themes are for 8th grade book reports." I'm going to rewind that. Without fully understanding it, in fact, Benioff once said, "Themes are for 8th grade book reports," which tells you all you need to know about his dedication to the art of storytelling. Woo! If you're wondering why a widely successful writer is comfortable dismissing themes as childish and unnecessary, it should be noted that Benioff's father is the former head of Goldman Sachs. Do we live in a meritocracy? Well, Bret Stephens still writes for that New York Times. So, the two went on to admit that they had absolutely no idea how the work. Okay, wait a minute. The two went on to admit they have absolutely no idea how to work with costume designers, kind of important for a fantasy series, and described their experience making Thrones as an expensive film school. Whoa. Needle and pen. They acknowledge they have no idea why, after such a dismissal pilot, they went forward. Everything we could make a mistake in, we did. Script, casting, costume. They think HBO went forward because they had a lot of foreign pre-sales on the series. Dan is saying that Game of Thrones was basically an expensive film school for he and Dave. For example, they had no idea how to work with costume designers, and this is a huge learning experience. On some level, I almost admire the candor. I do as well. They could have come up with excuses and defended their hideous creative choices, but they realized that they were there was nowhere left to hide. I'm going to get on camera for this. They also realized something else, folks, and it's the obvious. They just got a buttload of money from Netflix, and I guess Netflix is regretting that they offered them this money after this interview, but I'm guessing the ink is dry on that contract, so you're fucked, Netflix. There you go. These are your boys. You signed them. And you wonder why HBO let them go. I made a video about this. I got clapback. I'm expecting apologies soon. But they realized that there was nowhere left to hide. Fans were almost unanimously united in their disappointment. Wait a minute. Hold the goddamn phone right here. Matt Jarbo said that people like this. You understand that? Matt Jarbo said that we were wrong and people like this series. And it wasn't just Matt Jarbo. It was other people too. It was the entire Access Media. We were, once again, what were we? We were a small minority. This is why I love what happened to Game of Thrones, essentially, because it brought in a lot. At the end of the day, I really wanted it to succeed, but we can't change the past. So should we kill it? No, we should remember it. And that's why a lot of the Game of Thrones fans came over here to the Fandom Menace. They had no idea what the hell it was. But through a couple of channels, myself, Geeks and Gamers, Doomcock, and others, we gained some members who were normies, and I can't tell you how many emails I got. I couldn't even answer them all with, I had no idea this stuff was going on. But now that you've pointed it out, holy crap, I can't unsee it. Email after email after email I got on this one. I go on. Oh my God. This is amazing. Fans were almost unanimously united in their disappointment, and little of the anger has evaporated in the months since. Oddly enough, the show was at its peak during its early seasons when Benioff and Weiss were still learning how to do their jobs. The two initially downplayed the fantasy elements of the book, a decision that helped ground the universe before dragons started flying through the sky, and wanted to expand the audience to non-fantasy fans, which they did a good job on, quite honestly. But I'm guessing having George around helped a lot. This worked in their favor at the beginning of the show and helped expand it into a pop culture juggernaut. But meant that, okay, English bad words are, but meant that the interactions of, I can't read, of Martin's lore, or the interests, I'm not even going to bother, but you know what I'm saying, of Martin's lore were never explored. So the details of Martin's lore were never explored, and they were skipped. And now we know why they skipped Lady Stoneheart. Again, I'm going on camera. So does that answer all of your questions? Why they never, went with Lady Stoneheart, why they never went with any of the mystical stuff. They left half the Marine plot out. The Warlocks were completely forgotten about. Arya's story fell apart when she got to the House of the Undying. Because everything that started approaching supernatural prophecy, they avoided like the plague. And they begrudgingly put in Cersei's prophecy. Yeah, I'm like shocked by this. I'm shocked by this. But there's so many storylines that they left out that would have made it work. And no, we didn't. See, that's why it was easy to go to the dragons. That's why they went, oh, and that's what happened to the show. The show started going linear on us when it wasn't a linear story. That's exactly what it wasn't as a fantasy. It was flipping that on its head. And we were supposed to get subverted expectations. And when they were following George R. R. Martin's game plan, everything was fine. We were getting everything Star Trek Discovery and Star Wars is trying right now. Everything, all these Dark Fate is everything they are trying to do. George R. R. Martin did it 20 years ago in A Song of Ice and Fire, and he did it fucking better because the women were complex, they were flawed, they were human beings. Nowadays, anytime generally a white guy writes a woman or anybody in the realm of diversity, anybody that's non-white, they have to write them, as your boy Zach puts it, as a soulful saint. They're never flawed, and if they are flawed, it's because they trusted a man. There's nothing to these characters, and that's why nobody can identify with them on a human level. They're just going to go succeed, and the only time they're going to fail is because they trusted the wrong person, generally a man. That's it. George, showed the flaws of Arya. It's an advantage being in Arya's head, but Arya was a tragedy. They made her into some badass slay queen hero. No, she's not. She's a little girl who saw her father murdered in front of her and then saw her mother murdered. Well, was around when her mother was murdered. Everybody she loved was murdered, and all she knew was death, and she was cold and hollow inside, and she was not a good person after that. Quite frankly, I think they've already kind of foreshadowed Arya's future. I think Arya dies in the books, and there is a little scene in the Game of Thrones scene. There's a chapter in the book, I'll paraphrase, where Jon is, I think it's when he gives Arya a needle, and he says something to the effect of, you're probably going to, die alone, curled up around Needle. And I think that's foreshadowing her death. I think she dies alone. I don't think she ever reunites with her family in the books. That would be George R. R. Martin, and that would work. And it would be tragic because this is a tragic story. She's not turning into a superhero. She's turning into a cold-blooded killer. Nothing her family would want. Complexity to character. With Sansa, we're seeing her actually train from Littlefinger. He's teaching her everything he knows like an idiot because what all arrogant people do, he underestimates her, and she's seen a bunch of tragedy. So when she does eventually probably take over Winterfell, it'll feel earned in the books, but it never felt earned in the show. Oddly enough, the show was at its peak during its early seasons when Benioff and Weiss were still learning how to do their jobs. The two initially downplayed the fantasy elements of the book. Did I read this part? I did. Sorry. My bad. That's what happens when you go on a rant. Needle and Pen, the moderator asked if they chose to write all the episodes by themselves because the moderator asked why they chose to write all of the episodes by themselves because we didn't know better. David said HBO wanted them to hire other writers and they decided to have Brian Cogman, their assistant, write 4 episodes. And I was never a fan of his work. Dan wanted to remove as many fantasy elements as possible because we didn't just want to appeal to that type of fan. They wanted to expand the fan base to people beyond the fantasy fan base, to mothers, NFL players, and they did that. But you know what? The mothers and the NFL players dug into the lore, started getting into other fantasy works, and that's eventually what they wanted. And the Faceless Men, the Lord of Light, the Night King, all magical elements of the story that were never resolved, despite clearly being vital to the story. Hence, the prince that was promised never showed up, and Beric Dondarrion's grand destiny was teased but never delivered. Benioff and Weiss were elevated to success by HBO's polished infrastructure, the architect of George R. R. Martin's books, and the immense talent of every individual they surrounded them, particularly the actors. Needle and Pen, the moderator, is asking them about their comments, acknowledging they didn't understand the characters, and the extra minutes helped them understand the characters better. Oh my God. What have I been saying? What have I been saying Hollywood is? I work down there. Half of these people don't know what the fuck they're doing, and they're lazy. There is a large portion down there that works their ass off, and that's usually the crew, the carpenters, the set designers, the costume makers, people in post. Those people work their asses off, and they get treated like shit. Shit. But the people who are in charge, the producers, the head creatives, the head writers, nepotism, cronyism, cocaineism, that's pretty much what's going on down there. Dan is saying that he let the actors redefine the roles, especially Maisie, and they began writing for the actors. Is it like the actor moved into the house and redecorated? He said he learned about the characters from the actors. I'm gonna bang my head against something. I'm gonna bang my fucking head against something. Give me something to bang my head against. I better not. What the? They were exposed only when they ran out of material and had to finish the story themselves. Amusingly, the two never went online to read criticisms of the show from fans. Bullshit! Who clearly understood the books better than they did. Oh, they read it. I'm sure they read it. Well, Benioff searched online once, but the results upset him, so he never did it again. I don't believe that. Needle and Pen. If they never did that, so they found out everything from the actors? Because the impression I was under and what I heard from many, many insiders is that HBO was marketing the hell out of this show, and that's why we were getting more Aria. They were just basically, God, how did Preston, one of the guys on Preston Jacobs' videos called it something, and I forgot what it was. But it's basically what they did was they they went by marketing research, and that's how they pretty much formed where a character was going to go. That's why we got so much of Braun, who was not really part of the story. He was popular. And I love Braun, I do, but he was useless, utterly useless. They expressed regret about putting the baby on the block of ice, and and him screaming. The mother was not happy because Dan just kept talking about a close-up on the baby's penis. I'm sorry, did I skip I must have skipped a paragraph. No, I didn't. Nope. That went right to that. Sorry for the warning. So that baby was really on a block of ice, and David wanted to focus on his penis. Okay. They are very granular in details of shots, admitting losing sight of the big picture. You think? Where you listen... by the way, Star Wars, Disney, Jar Jar... I know Jar Jar, you're tuning in. Would it kill you to give me $1 super chat, Jar Jar Abrams? You just made $500 million. I just want you to, you know what? You don't have to do that. Just hit @Nerdrotic and say present, because I know you're watching. I hope you're paying attention to this. This could be your future. Were you listening to the feedback of your fans as things went along? Dan, we really did not. Dan doesn't see the value of considering other people's reactions. Okay. Dan acknowledged that he Googled the show and it upset him. Dan said no. It seems that the Game of Thrones writers' room was a safe space, shielded from criticism and outside perspective. In a way, it's a relief to finally understand why the show went in such a bizarre direction. There was no one there to tell Benioff and Weiss that their ideas were nonsensical. Casting also dictated how and when they killed people. Question about scouting locations. They are crediting the location director as in Belfast. Sorry, I didn't catch his name. They asked about not including women and POC in the writers' room. They didn't have writers' room. They were there was one woman who wrote a few scenes. They decided up front it was going to be those two. David Hill is of Asian descent. Because that's how the Access Media sees the world. I hope when this writer walks into a McDonald's, they make sure that there's enough. I hope they do the math, and I want you to do the real math. You need to see what the breakdown is in the United States, and your local McDonald's better match that perfectly, or you should, I don't know, cry about it on Twitter. Nobody was there to tell them to stop inserting random R to the A to the P to the E scenes for shock value, or that Euron Greyjoy was dreadful, or that the great houses of Westeros finally putting aside their differences and crowning a wheelchair-bound shaman as king was immensely indescribably stupid, which it was. But what was dumb was having that person miss a season, because he is important, and that is probably who's going to be the king at the end of the books. Euron Greyjoy was supposed to be dreadful, but not that way. And as far as the R to the A to the P to the E scenes, they happen in the book. You can't blame them. They happen in the book. And I think this is a huge reason why George is delaying the book. I think current year has absolutely, I will defend George on this. I think current year has really slowed his writing. So maybe he's waiting for for this thing to pass, because if he comes out with a new book and he writes it like he wrote the last one, he will get eviscerated by the Access Media that pretends to love him, by all the happy and sad puppies, whoever they are, who pretend to love him. They will destroy him. And you know what? It'll be his own damn fault, because you are the Access Media and the creatives let the wolf in the door, for lack of a better word. And now, creatively, you have to deal with the consequences. You are not free to write what the hell you want, because, oh my God, this fake thing that happened might show that there is actually violence towards women in the past, because this was, it's grounded in actual history. But let's not write about that stuff anymore. Let's all have homogenized Disney fare. Boy, can't wait for Frozen 2. Oh, wait, I've never seen Frozen, so I can wait for Frozen 2. Kevin Smith once said, in Hollywood, you just kind of fail upwards. He's right. Toby Emmerich at Warner Brothers. I think that's a pretty apt description of how Benioff and Weiss created their hit show. But an even better analogy comes from Hunter S. Thompson, who famously responded to an impending deadline by ripping the tattered, intoxicated scribblings from his notebook and sending them to his editor, producing the famous article, "The Kentucky Derby is a descendant of The Kentucky Derby is decadent and depraved." Thompson described his accidental success as falling down an elevator shaft and landing in a pool full of mermaids. Well, Benioff and Weiss have swum with the mermaids, and hopefully they learned how to keep their heads above water, because there's another elevator shaft down below, and at the bottom of this swamp is full of ravenous, flesh-eating Star Wars fans. Let's hope they learn how to talk to costume designers at least. Holy shit. What an article. Video in the morning. God, that's 5 videos I got to do. I might have to cut off something. Oh my God. Okay, what did the chat have to say about that? Did I lose everybody? I thought it was crazy. Crazy. Hiroshi Score, thank you again for the super chat. Brody 36 Canadian $5 started watching you during your Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who reviews when they were coming out. Much love, brother. Congrats on 50K. All right, we're going to get to the chats. So, well, I mean, we got the answer for Game of Thrones, and it was the answer we thought it was. And remember all the people who said we were being mean and cruel and we were completely off base. As a matter of fact, I am going to spend the night fuck sleeping tonight. I'm going to find every video that called me, Mahler. Yeah, this time I'm going to be petty. I get to do it once. I just hit 150K. Fuck it. I'm going to do what I want. Just like J.J. Abrams. I'm going to find every video that called out me and Mahler and Doomcock and Jeremy, who said we were being mean for calling the creators lazy and talentless hacks. Because it turns out they were lazy, talentless hacks. And they admitted it. And Netflix gave them how much? $200 million? $250 million? But I'm going to give them credit. They were honest. I got to give them credit for that. To come out and state it. My criticism isn't towards David Benioff anymore, or David Benioff and Dan Weiss. I think it's good that they've come clean. I think I admire honesty, and I think this is their way of apologizing. I think they need to apologize to the actors for leaving them hanging. I mean, did you guys watch that Game of Thrones panel at San Diego Comic-Con? They were squirming. So Nikolai, the guy who played Jaime Lannister, that dude is a man. He stood up and took it all. And all of the actors did. Macy Williams was detached because I think she thinks she's going to be a star for the rest of her life. And I hope to God she is. But I think even the actors recognize, like, this is as good as it's going to get. This is your peak. And somebody, HBO, I kind of put this on you. Somebody should have gotten to that insulated writer's room and smacked him, kind of like an airplane. Get it together. And smacked some sense into them to save your show. Oh, and by the way, the petition looks a lot better today, doesn't it? It certainly does. If you haven't signed it, go ahead. Give it a signature. Because, you know what? Considering what I just heard, it should have been remade. So, yeah. Yeah, vindication here. Little vindication. Feels pretty good, to be honest with you. But it doesn't feel good that Game of Thrones crashed and burned. Again, I don't think when I do a video on this, I don't think I'll be criticizing Dan and Dave much more because they came clean. And honestly, Gemini Man was written by Benioff. You saw how that did. And Benioff did write Wolverine Origins. So Deadpool's mouth shut. I know they tried to blame that on Tom Rothman, but his name's on the credits. But you do need to look at the people who criticized us and HBO. But don't worry. And George R. Martin. George. I know you gave me a little wave at the Orville, but you didn't shake my hand. But you knew the truth all along, didn't you? You knew the truth all along. Wow. Yes. Thank you very much, Jay Pratt. God damn. Yeah, so they want us to watch a prequel. HBO, after letting this happen. I mean, listen, they made all their money. They got over on the fandom. They fucking won. It was the highest rated show towards the end, towards the last few seasons. That was when the most people were watching it. And it was 17.4 million viewers for the premiere of season 8. And that was, season 7 was trash, but that's how much goodwill. I think that's a great example of goodwill of fandom and how much fandom will take before they break. Star Wars, Disney, talking to you. Your reckoning is about 2 months away. And usually, if it looks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's a fucking duck. So they bring out The Mandalorian during the time they'll be promoting Rise of Skywalker. Is there a new light on that for you now? It is for me. Hearing the truth from Game of Thrones, a truth that we would never hear. I don't know why they did this. Again, all credit to them, but they just exposed Hollywood, not just Game of Thrones. They exposed Hollywood. Could you imagine what it's like at Bad Reboot? I doubt there's a person alive who can tell Jar Jar Abrams no, and I'm counting Kathleen Kennedy or Alan Horn. HBO just gave the finger to the fans. Yes, they did. They could have fixed this. What's up, Tartazone? You do great work too, brother. They could have fixed this. There's a lot of blame to go around, but go buy that Blu-ray for season 8. Don't forget to get the digital copy. Watch those deleted scenes. I feel bad for those channels that dedicated themselves to the show. And I feel really good for those channels who dedicated themselves to the books, although those might not finish either. So yeah, and then HBO serves up Watchmen. That's a good dessert after Game of Thrones. Gary, I'm getting triggered. I don't want to. Well, listen. Dumb and Dumber can't save Star Wars. They won't be working on Star Wars. I'm calling this one right now. Forget it. Their names might be on as producers of a single movie. Here's my prediction. You can hold me to it. They write a script. They get a story credit for one Star Wars movie and maybe a producer credit. That's it. But I think it's way more likely they aren't going to have anything to do with Star Wars anymore because they're working for Netflix now, and I doubt Bob Iger loves that. And considering what they just said now, I think they might already be off Star Wars, which little Roundhead is celebrating. I don't think he's doing it either. Oh, whoops, sorry. I got to get the chat caught up. My bad. Yeah, I wonder what Mahler thinks of that article. That says a lot. So I'm going to do a proper video on that, and I'll release it in the morning. I guess my Watchmen review is delayed. Just wait for Westworld 3, big guy, says Jeff McDaniel. Exactly. Oh, I still own Westworld Season 1. I don't own Westworld Season 2, and I just pretend it ended at Season 1 and was like a long Twilight Zone. It was a long remake of the movie, just one season, and it's great. Captain Spire, yes, all they needed was time crystals. They can fix everything. Star Wars reeks of death and decay. Yes, it does. And it is done. But look, Disney Star Wars, Lucasfilm, $1 billion company, $1 billion organization. Did they vet Dan and Dave? They are going to put them on their most valued franchise. You don't do a little digging. You don't do a background check. I got a background check at Tesla. I mean, it didn't do very well. It didn't catch a lot of stuff, to be quite honest with you. But I've gotten background checks at worse jobs. You don't do a little checking. You don't pick up the phone and talk to somebody at HBO. And it's like, so we're about to sign these guys to a Star Wars movie. Like, what's their work ethic like? Or maybe somebody lied. I don't know. This is why Kevin Feige is running Lucasfilm. Vandalier, sorry. Great point. Great point. You're exactly right. And listen, Game of Thrones, I did go back and rewatch season 8. It is filled with current year propaganda. I was kind of just too mesmerized, and probably hypnosis had something to do with it too. I'll be honest. Use footage from the stream and then add it for more commentary and citations. Okay, Tom Wolfinger, you think it's good enough? I don't know. I am vindicated. Thank you. And so are you, Violent Science. You are vindicated. You, the fandom, are vindicated. Those evil people who signed the petition. It really sucks. I feel sorry for some YouTubers out there who are trying to get on the knob of HBO. They don't even respect you enough to use you as shills. I'm sorry. That's why you shouldn't shill, folks. I've had people reach out to me. I've had them reach out to me when I had a lot less subs, and they like it when you're honest. Now you got to be, respectful as much as you can to an individual. And if you keep the attack onto the argument and the content, I think that's a perfect way to do it and just not get personal with people. But, if you want, I don't want to tell you what to do. If you want to get personal and that's your thing and you're funny about it, God, do it. Bruce Timm could run circles around all of these bums. Garthor 1976. Yes, he could draw and write and do circles backwards. He could do flips over these fools. Bruce Timm is a genius. Jon Snow was better off dead, says David Rayner. Yes, he was. Why did he come back? The prince was promised. Well, of course, he was there to kill Daenerys, but he killed Daenerys with like a sidearm with his little blade. I mean, it's like, she's McQueen. What does John Campia think of this? Did he like? Oh, he did like season 8, didn't he? Of course he did. Well, I'm sure he will change his mind with the change of the wind. Emergency awesome. Emergency awesome. Yeah, I like Charlie. I don't, does he really? I think he just runs down the video. I don't think he really gives any real. Charlie just repeats stuff. He kind of breaks down things. I don't think he gives any of his real opinions on anything. But that's why he's got millions of subs. That's why he got millions of subs. I did watch his Watchmen review, and well, I was shaking my head. But Watchmen's not getting any traction, not with any YouTubers, not with Charlie. Go look at the clicks. I think his Watchmen season or episode 1 review got 200,000 views, which is a hell of a lot of views. But if you relate it to 3 million subs, it's really not. Disney and Kennedy dumped on George Lucas. Himmler, Clevis, they did. And George Lucas is laughing his jolly ass off. Precisely. Why no Bruce Timm in live action? I don't know. I don't know. Gatekeeping, nepotism. That's the only thing I could think of. Thank you for the congratulations, by the way. I greatly appreciate it. Yeah, that article like took over the I'm glad I found it though. It was by accident. Brody36, thank you for, I'm going to get to some super chats and we'll talk some more about that because I'm fired up about it. Dave Bob for $2. Congrats on 150K, but watch out for the sidewalk poop. That's why I just don't go out. I don't go downtown. Ask Mrs. Nerdrotic. I think I went downtown once and I drove through it, but I do not go to downtown San Francisco. It's, there's nothing down there. I'm not a millionaire, so I can't afford the restaurants that give you a $50 plate of food and it's like a leaf. It's like a piece of kale and a 1-inch squared piece of beef that was cooked to perfection, I'm sure. Point Karushin. Point Karushin? I'm an idiot. Canadian $5. I'm tired of progressivism inserting itself into all content and tired of being looked at like I'm crazy for noticing it and disliking it. You're not crazy. It's disingenuous argument from the people who are just using our franchises for their confirmation bias, for their propaganda. I am neither right or left. I am fiercely independent. I am a by the issue person. I'd probably be accused of being progressive by some and leaning right by others. Don't care. Don't really give a shit. But I do notice that when there's propaganda being inserted into our entertainment and then they're selling it back to us, and then when we complain about it, and the vast majority of us talk about the narrative and are talking about the story, and nobody even brings up the lead in it, we get called an istophobe. And it goes on and on and on. I'm done with it. And I'm going to start, the only way you can be done with it though, is every time they point it out, you just need to counterpoint it. And I know the beat goes on, but you need to force them into providing facts. The blanket accusations and generalizations, I'm done with that. Anything comes towards anybody in the fandom menace, it comes towards me. I'm going to call that person out. I'm going to point out that little paragraph, and I will bug the shit out of that person until they either relent or they provide a fact. Or I'm going to make it very discouraging to write an article like that in the future. I mean, feel free. Peter Davison, Australian, $5. Sent you emails 6 months ago, LOL. I did read some and I responded to some. I saw your email today, Peter. I did. I will respond to it, but I did read it. Sarah Cheney, Cheney, for $20, what is the movie TV series you are most looking forward to? That's an easy answer. There is two. The Orville and The Expanse. The Expanse comes out December 13th of this year. I've already seen the first episode. I will be doing a full spoiler review on Nerdrotic Live this Saturday. It is brilliant, but that is what I'm looking forward to the most. There is still good out there. I'm enjoying Mr. Robot right now in its final season. I loved the Joker. There's a lot of things I like. You know what? When I first heard Watchmen announced, I was open to it. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm into it. But then I heard Damon Lindelof, and I was like, oh, forget it. And the reason I knew it wouldn't be good under David Lindelof is I knew it would be basic bitch, and that's all it was. He cannot handle Moore's nuance, Moore's subtlety, Moore's complexity. He can't even hold Moore's, I don't know, wizard underwear, whatever kind of I'm pretty sure Moore goes commando under his wizard gown or whatever the hell it is. And listen, I don't pray at the church of Alan Moore either. I think Alan Moore can be a bit of a curmudgeon. I think Alan Moore sometimes takes ownership of things he doesn't own. You know, all those characters from Watchmen were based on Charlton characters. So so those are knockoff characters, and League of Extraordinary Gentlemen aren't his characters. He doesn't own that stuff. And honestly, he should have negotiated a better contract. Now DC did make him a promise. They broke that promise. I don't know. I'm guilty of buying Watchmen merchandise, as a matter of fact. Here we go. So I like Alan Moore. I do. I like his writing a lot, but sometimes I think he takes too much ownership of stuff. These are businesses. But I side with him on Watchmen as far as like gutting the story like this. Now, Watchmen, a great example of how Watchmen could have been better. Again, I don't think I have great ideas, but if you want to tell a current year story with Watchmen, and if you want to mix in a little bit of ism and phobia and whatever that you could have, you have Marvel's Avengers right there to make fun of. You flip that on its head, because what Alan Moore essentially did was take the Justice League and put them in a, alternate history, and really took a look at how would these people be like in an absurdist satire way, but still try to ground it in reality. So we got Watchmen isn't a superhero story, it's a cop story. And why not bring in superheroes, actual superheroes, and do that? That would have been much more interesting. But The Boys is doing that. Oh, that's another answer. The Boys. Watch The Boys on Amazon. I've come around on that. I was a little hard on it at first, and I think I was, I'll admit, okay, this is why I don't want to get too friendly with creatives, do interviews, or anything like that in the future, because I mean, it's going to be tough for me to be honest and fair with somebody I know and like. Derek Robertson's one of my closest friends, and I can't criticize his work. So I think I was just being a little too hard, and I went a little too hard the other way, but I can't be objective on that at all. I mean, for crap's sake, I'm drawn into the comic book. So, I think I was just too hard on it at first. I watched it 3 times, and now I freaking love it. So, that's part of the problem. And, the Orville did invite me on set, and I'm there, and I'm going to try to stay objective. If it gets super woke, I'll tell you. It'll hurt, but I'll tell you. But I want to be free of that. I want to be able to, call Dan and Dave hacks freely, because that's what they were, and they just admitted to it. That was a huge bomb, says Grand Admiral Thrawn. Welcome to the chat, Grand Admiral, by the way. Huge admirer of your work. For $2. Chris Stanley for $5. What great timing for your 150K, Gary. This article we needed back in May. We did, Chris Stanley. Do you see that as kind of an apology? I do. Honestly, I admire them being that honest. I really do. I'm done criticizing them. I feel like, I will make the video, whether I use parts of this or not, I don't know. I will make the video, and I am done criticizing them. Now, there's still George, and there's still HBO. But I criticize George out of love. I am, honestly, I'm going to sound like a stalker. I am one of his biggest fans. I love that guy's work a lot. And I am very happy he didn't flip me off when we met. It was on the Orville set, and it was interestingly timed. None of his he had a posse with him. Only one person talked to me out of it. The other ones were giving me the cold shoulder. It was just me and them in the group, and that was it. Lady Mist for $10. Congrats on 150K and being right. Stopped watching Game of Thrones at the killing of the Night King. It was so anticlimactic. The last episode seemed like a waste of time. And Lady Mist, they were. Oh, they were. And now we find out the Night King was just a shaggy dog. That's all he was. He was a shaggy dog. They never knew what to do with him. They were leading us on. They lied to us. They lied. Poor Miguel Sapochnik. He's out there trying to defend these guys, and essentially, they threw themselves under the bus. So I guess Miguel, they were all being honest in the documentary, and I tried to point that out to people. They were all complaining how miserable everything was. These guys are making tens of thousands of dollars, some cases millions of dollars, and they're complaining how miserable everything is. Now, I know Hollywood work can be tough. But quite frankly, I work a lot better the more I'm paid. I do. Iris Lamb for $4.99. Dragon Demons on YouTube was one of the YouTubers who had D&D pegged years ago. They just admitted to everything he said they were. You are correct, and so did Preston Jacobs. There was a lot of YouTubers doing it, but This channel was supposed to be a Game of Thrones channel. It was a miserable attempt at starting one. If you go, I don't know if I did delete a lot of those videos because they had copyright strikes because I had music on them. But if you dig deep into my website, nerdrotic.com, they're there. They're bad. But I was like, Game of Thrones, yay! Orville Nation, $5. Congrats on 150K. Go, Gary. You go, Orville Nation. George BD Lucas, and you know what the BD is? Biggest Dickus. $1.99. I don't think the real progressives, I don't think it's real progressives twisted. No, I don't think it's real liberals. I don't think it's the classic liberals. I think it is an extreme, it's a elitist Hollywood form of those politics. Again, I don't mean to disrespect anybody on the left or the right. What's going on right now, the insidious, dangerous thing that is just flat out wrong and it's a lie, is continuing to perpetuate the narrative that everybody who is just right of center is an istophobe. That needs to stop, because that kind of hyperbole, that kind of just exaggeration can get dangerous, and you start teaching a generation that, that person supports the Orange Man. Racist. My mom, I have two moms. One of my moms supports him. I'm not sure about the other one. One of my sisters supports him. I have family members who support them. And they're not any of those things. They are just normal people who want to go about their day. They go to work, they come home, they, want to take care of their family. And they just come at it with a different perspective. And it should be no different than how you feel about somebody's religion. You should respect the fact that they have it. You can disagree with it, but that's it. But now it's turned into sports ball. That's what it's turned into. And the mainstream media has done it. And now it's bleeding into our entertainment. That's the biggest problem. I can shut off the news and not pay attention to that shit. But now I can't. It's being forced on me. And I'm not saying I disagree with everything being forced on me, but it's being presented in such a superficial way, and it's being presented as propaganda. And that frightens me. I do not like, well, not frightens, but it disturbs me. I have a serious problem with being told what to do, being told what to say. If you ask me nicely, I will call you whatever you like. But if you don't ask me nicely, I will call you whatever I like. John O'Brien for £2. Thank you for the donation. Peter Davison for Australian $5. Sorry, Gary, I never received any answers. You will. You will. I can't get to every email, Peter Davison. I have, and it sucks. I don't know what to do. Hire somebody, but I don't know what to do. I've got 6,500 emails I got to get through. I mean, it's great. It's awesome. It's a problem I will figure out. I am grateful to have it, and I will get back to you, Mr. Davison, and say hello to your mom for me. Okay, we got through the. Okay, I missed some, so we're gonna go back, and we're gonna get to the ones I missed. Penn Farm Girl, congrats on the latest milestone. What's crazy? A 5-year. What a crazy year. 5K to 150K. This article is like a gift wrap present to you. Please check in on Doomcock. Reads it. When he reads it, his head might finally explode. It might. But I've got, oh my God, I've got 2 videos to do. Gary, you're so excited you can't even read it. I love it, says Dwayne Morris for $2. I know. I was like, I can't believe I'm reading this. Peter Ford for $1.99. Jar Jar, do it. Give in to your anger. I will, Peter Ford. I'm kind of doing this out of order. I did skip a bunch, so hang on. 200-watt bulb for $5. Gary sent you a Twitter DM with a pic of the new Orville set from Tom's Twitter. Thank you for the picture. I've seen it. I walked in it. So I guess the cat's out of the bag. You know what the difference is in the set, right? Did he talk about that? I'm guessing he did. And if he didn't, well, I hope I didn't break my NDA right there, but I won't say anything else until I verify that. I might have said too much. So I guess that means Danny didn't just forget. I'm glad they admitted this and that they deserve some respect, but I am so sad that their permitted ineptitude allowed this to become canon. And people noticed this years ago. They took a year break. They could have done a lot of things. They could have brought in new showrunners. Happens all the time. Go talk to Walking Dead. Willie Rojas for 5,000 Chilean. The CRC is Chilean, right? I'll check that in a second. I was hoping everyone learned from Game of Thrones disaster, especially the new Amazon's Wheel of Time adaptation. After seeing the casting choices for the main characters, I know they didn't. R.I.P. Robert Jordan. And do you not fear for Lord of the Rings right now? You have 2 showrunners who've never run a show before, whose big credit was a defunct Star Trek IV movie. Lord of the Rings is screwed, and now I'm mad. Bradman for $10. First came here the night Danny burned King's Landing. I was so pissed from how bad the episode was. I couldn't sleep, and you and Doomcock were the only 2 on talking about it. So thank you. You are welcome, Bradman, and I'm glad you found us. Again, I'm doing these completely out of order. I'm working my way back up, then I'm going to work my way back down. So apologies for that. But this jumped on me like a mofo, and I was not expecting that. Holy shit. You guys are awesome. Okay. Adam Child. Adding for $5, adding to Demolition Man comment. I am waiting for a machine to find me monetary credits for breaking some SJW law and the gun museum. LOL. Be well, Gary. And I got to get to your previous one because I don't feel like I read that one, Adam. I don't feel like. So, Adam, you are the hero. Stop holding yourself. Was there one after that? Adam Child, congratulations. Okay. I feel like I missed one. So, I always told my kid the time for, you'll know it's time for the revolution when they start ticketing you for cursing, just like in Demolition Man. That is when it's time to do something serious. And I'm only half joking about that. Blue-Eyed Scorpio for $4.99. Congrats on 150K. Here's a super chat before you get too famous to read them all. But until then, you're still my favorite Gary and YouTuber. Well, I'm very proud to be your favorite Gary. There's so many great Garys out there. And thank you, Blue Eyed Scorpio. I will always read the super chats myself. I don't know if I can always fit them in one live stream, but I will always read them myself. I will not hire anybody to read the super chats, period. Ever. It sucks I can't get to every bit of the chat, which is something I used to do and I loved. Nikki D for $20. Bit off topic, but as a Thor fan, I have major concerns for the 4th MCU installment. I fear that they may emasculate him further to make Jane Foster seem more important than she actually is. That is one of two. For another $20. As a girl myself, I find this form of writing contrived and insulting. What are your thoughts on this matter? Congrats on 150K, by the way. 2 of 2. Well, Nikki D, thank you very, very much. And that's exactly what's going to happen. My thoughts on this matter are there is a way you can, that this can work, that you can bring in a Jane Foster Thor that everybody would like, or most everybody. You're not going to make everybody like. There was a way to bring in a female doctor that everyone would like. There was a way to introduce any kind of a female lead or any kind of a character in any new show. It's sticking to the previous canon, not disrespecting what came before, and just adding to it. And that's what people used to do. But anything, and I mean anything, from a straight white male that is perceived as mentorship or receiving power from that, from the straight white man, they can't represent that at all. Not just none of the time, not just part of the time. No, they are ripping the Band-Aid off. They are never doing that again. They are not going to portray white straight men in any position of power over a woman for the foreseeable future. And it completely screws the narrative. We're talking about Norse mythology. That is the basis of Thor. Norse mythology, Kirby, Stan Lee, Marvel Comics. There's a lot of masculinity, and that's the biggest problem, is any masculinity is toxic masculinity, which again is just false. We can't help how we are born. We are born with testosterone. We are the way we are. So if you have a problem with nature and science, I don't know what you're going to do about that. But what you're going to end up doing is alienating all of your fans. It's half now. That number will grow. And women will be alienated too, because these characters aren't written authentically. They're written with agenda in mind first. How can we put our progressive, mostly agenda, and our third wave feminism agenda into this movie? We can hit the beats like every 15, 20 minutes. We're going to do it. Somebody pointed out last night with Watchmen, it's like there's a virtue signal every 2 minutes on the dot. Instead of maybe writing a story and, thinking about inserting those messages as you write the story. Don't come at the story with your checklist first, which is how most shit is written, and they damn near admitted it now. As a matter of fact, they did admit it, and now they have software to make sure you hit all of the checklist. And if you didn't, you'll be in trouble. Logic Noodles for Australian $20. Congrats, Gary, on 150K. Here's some coffee money to help out. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. 20-watt studio. 20. Oh my God. 200-watt studio. Hail, Gary, did you get my email the other day regarding the link to the Expanse audiobook Oberon? I did, and I meant to say thank you. Thank you. That is interesting. We're supposed to be getting an Expanse book. Well, usually they come out every year right around this time, and there hasn't even been a word on the last one. Southeastern Kaiju for $5. Disney to fans, we're sorry if you were offended by Soy Wars. Here, accept this Mandalorian as a one-time apology. I think I'll pass. Hail, Gary. Honestly, I will watch it for the show, for this channel. If I did not have this channel, wouldn't give it the time of day. My attachment to Star Wars, my relationship with Star Wars is over. I have moved on. We have broken up. We have been to counseling. We decided that a not so amicable breakup was in order, and that's what happened. And Disney Star Wars does not have my phone number, does not have my address, and is blocked on my Facebook and my Twitter. Not happening. We are done. But I will cover you professionally, and I will try to be as objective as possible. I bet you The Mandalorian might be halfway decent, and maybe good. Jon Favreau is cool. It's got a great cast. Carl fucking Weathers, come on, that's cool. But they already said they're going to be filling it full of that Disney agenda, that packaged up, processed, homogenized Disney agenda. Daryl Rayner for $4.99. Congratulations on 150K, Gary. Rock on, brother. You rock on. Geeky Candy for $5. More shekels to celebrate the great news today on the 200 on to 250K. Well, thank you, Geeky Candy, and congratulations on 1,000 subscribers. Round of applause for Geeky Candy. F's in the chats for Geeky Candy. Showing respect, hitting 1,000. Now we got to get those watch time hours up so you can get the cheddar. Crazy Eyed Jedi for $2. Been watching for a while. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you. Welcome to the channel. I'm glad you're here. And thank you for the $2. And Daryl Rayner, thank you for the $4.99 again. Jason Smoot for $20. Your channel gets me through the work week. Thanks. Awesome. That's brilliant. Jason, thank you for the $20. There's so many channels out there that got me through my work week at Tesla. There was Englantine's morning. He used to do morning live streams. He stopped doing them. Tug did afternoon live streams. So when a Tug live stream came on, I knew I only had a couple hours to work. Geeks and Gamers videos, World Class Bullshitters videos. In the morning, I would listen to Good Morning Pop Culture. EVS would do a random stream. That's what got me through my work week. So thank you. Canadian Highlander for Canadian $5. Hail, Gary. Oh my God. D&D fessed up that they suck. Maybe because they didn't win Best Director nod. Retribution for Gary. Doomcock and fans made my night. Oh, and I didn't even think about the fucking Emmys. The Emmys. Emmys are a complete fucking joke, confirmed. We knew that already, but this confirms it. Hollywood is probably wants to slap these guys right now, because it just confirmed what we thought about so much shit. And guess what? Star Wars is the same goddamn thing. It's actually run worse. HBO was able to hide this shit from a lot of people for a long time. This era of honesty in Hollywood. I think they're starting to figure out that there is going to be no skeletons that you can hide in your closets anymore. And that's why Hollywood right now is packaging up their apology to all the women and minorities and trying to resell it to us, the fandom, who had nothing to do with their shit. And that's what, Watchmen is a giant apology. It's a husband who got caught in a three-way with his wife's sister and her cousin. And he is trying to, and they have like 6 kids, and he is trying to apologize and keep the relationship going, and it ain't happening. That's what Hollywood is doing right now. They're living on their friend's couch. It's not looking good for Hollywood. TC, The Mandalorian for £2. If they call anything season 8, it's an insult now. Yep. You're right. You're right. Thank you for the £2. Jake D for $5. Congrats on 150K, Gary. Planning to upgrade my Patreon level because you deserve it. Oh, well, thank you. I don't know if I deserve any of you. You guys are brilliant and love your content. Hail to the Fandom Menace. Hail to the Fandom Menace. Hail to the Fandom Menace. Fuck yeah. I love the Fandom Menace. There is a great bunch of people, the Fandom Menace is even people who wouldn't even consider themselves Fandom Menace, because it's not a label that you can affix to anybody. It's more of a mindset of anything. It is a group of individuals united in the principle of respecting the fan and bringing and making entertainment truly for everyone. And no, we don't want to exclude people. No, we aren't afraid of women. Last time I checked, there's a lot of women here in the chat. Last time I checked, I live with one. She is a little scary sometimes, but that's because she's my wife. And she's pretty badass. But we're not afraid of these things. Nothing scares us. We
want to continue giving these giant corporations who treat us like shit money because they just so happen to own the stuff we love. We don't, I mean, somehow, some way, there's a lot of shills out there. There's a lot of YouTubers who want to kiss these corporations' ass, and it's going to get you nowhere. It's going to get you nowhere. John Campea has had to kiss a lot of ass to get what he's done, but he also built a lot of stuff on his own. He didn't need to kiss that ass. He'd have so much more. His channel would be much bigger if he told it like it was. It would, flat out. That's why Jeremy passed him in his pool house with his $75 camera. Bradman, okay, I read that one, so I'm caught up there. Now I'm going to get back down to the other ones I missed. I'm sorry about the Wheel of Time, Wiley. Currently working on my novel, so is there any news about George R. Martin's book? Don't want to buy the Game of Thrones series before he gets out the next one. There is, Bonks, but I can't say it right now. Somebody reached out to me in confidence, and I have yet to respond to their message because I'm woefully behind. But person who reached out to me, I will be responding to you today. Thank you for that message. I appreciate that. Pen Farm Girl, it is awesome to see you. Love Pen Farm Girl. She has been with me since 300 subs. Yes, it has been a crazy year. Lloyd for $5. Damn it. I should have been a director so I could have failed upward as well. It's never too late, Lloyd. Give it a shot. And if they don't let you in, accuse them of, I mean, you look like a mature gentleman. I'm just going to say you look like a mature guy, unless that's like, is that your dad in the picture? But if that's you, I would just accuse them of being ageist. You could, there's an ist for everything now. The reason, one of the things, I got clapped back on, and I'm not going to respond because I know it's a major trap, for lack of a better description. A trans person came after me, saying the same basic things. Don't look for that person. Don't attack this person. I want nothing. People can say what they want about me and make videos. It's fine. I'm not going to ever respond to it or give you oxygen. But, it was funny because it was brought up to me by, family members and stuff. And we had a conversation about like, how many trans people I know. And I don't care. I don't think it's a partisan value for the most part, to like be whoever you want to be. Do you. I don't care. Just don't expect me to change my life for you. You need to adapt to the world. The world will not adapt to you. We are individuals. And to think that is narcissism beyond belief. But that's what we have. We have these, and it's individuals who are very insecure, who are very narcissistic, who expect the world to bend to them. I don't care how you identify. That's fine. Again, be whoever the hell you are. But if I did that, I'll use my I statements here. I am a grateful recovering alcoholic. So if I walked around the world demanding that people hide their beers or throw them away or just not drink at all around me, what would that make me? A complete asshole. Although alcohol and drugs are extremely dangerous around me. That shit could take my life. I have a disease that starts with a conscious decision, but after that conscious decision, I have some bad wiring in my brain and I don't know when to stop. And I've had to crawl back from like the brink of death a couple of times to learn how to stop. So, but I still, should prohibition come back? Weed should be illegal because of me. No, that's not a realistic way to approach the world. And guess what? There's a lot more alcoholics. There's a lot more recovering alcoholics and drug addicts out there than a lot of these special interest, marginalized, quote unquote, groups. And you don't hear any of us saying any of that stuff because we realize it's a personal thing that we need to take care of on our own. And I do not expect the world to adapt to me. And one of the principles of recovery is, for lack of a better description, not being a victim. owning your shit. Hemlar Clavius for $5. I think they should have just used George Lucas's stories. Yes, they should have. Hindsight on that one. They had their opportunity, but no, they were too smart for all that. Jar Jar Abrams can do no wrong. If you ask him, he'll tell you, I can do no wrong. I'm sure he'll do his false humility and just, oh no, I'm terrible. Everybody else is great. Right, JJ. Nerdrotic, F it. We'll do it live. Right on. Jack Random for $2. I will. J Pat for Canadian $2. Congrats on 150K. Keep on, keep it on, Gary the Gray. Oh, well, thank you. Gandalf, one of my favorite characters. But okay. So I did get this. Hang on. Somebody, I asked, I shouldn't do this, by the way. It's very irresponsible of my platform, but I asked for something on a live stream and somebody sent me 2 of each. Mego Lord of the Rings. See, this is a satisfying story. This is a story that does subvert some tropes. And it is our modern mythology. It does have some feminism in it. 1950s version. Anybody remember Éowyn? And, defending one of my favorite characters, King Theoden. Here's Legolas. This is awesome. We're going to do Toxic Mailbag next Wednesday. I know they say that, but I actually have my crate right here to go through. Lord of the Rings, great story. Satisfying ending. Greatest trilogy of all time. Just, you know what? Don't bother with Game of Thrones. Go read Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, or reread it. Why, yes, I speak jive, says Fred Richards for $2. Yes. Woke Troll, only caught part of the stream, man. This brought back some bad memories. Sorry, Woke Troll for $5. Sorry about that. RR for $1.99. What comes around goes around. Call the hacks out. Oh, I'm gonna. Don't forget, Gary, you and DC are just a bunch of haters wanting clicks and subs. You don't at all have a lifelong invested desire to see your most beloved characters given the respect they deserve. Nope. Yeah, I'm full of shit. I'm not a fan at all. I am a fake geek boy. I'm sure I bought all of these action figures like in the last year, all of these comics in the last year. You know what? All my tattoos, they're fake. They're fake tattoos. It's even worse. I order them off the wall of the tattoo shop, and then I had a fake tattoo made and did it. Yes. Who is this Spitterman you talk about? And I don't understand Watchmen. Don't forget that one. Okay, so we were caught up there. Chris Stanley. Super Anime Gamer. What's so shocking is George R. R. Martin was a TV writer. He knows how to do this. Why do you think he chose them? Really can't figure it out. Think he regrets it? Yes. The truth of the matter is, and I've been saying this for a long time, they do not do their homework in Hollywood. They do not do their research. The people who are in charge are so busy having a great time because they're stinking rich and they're on yachts and they're butt chugging cocaine off somebody's butt crack that they don't take the time to do their work. And if I hear one more clapback on that, I will just present the biggest show of all time was run by people who just admitted they weren't qualified for the job. And HBO knew it, and they let them finish. Jesus. Orville Nation, congrats on 150K. Go Gary. Thank you very much. Yellow Flash 2. What's up, Yellow Flash? I don't know if you're still around, but what's up, dude? For $2, congrats on the growth. Got to get you on a stream. Dude, I'm there. I will be there. I got to get you on a stream. I'll get you on a Friday Night Tights, man. Love the Yellow Flash. George, biggest Dickus Lucas for $1.99. Why did Alan Moore let them do it? He can't. He has no say in it. EVS pointed it out on his live stream. Alan Moore was a work for hire on this. So, I mean, he has no say, and DC was nice to him. They had a verbal deal like, hey, we won't make any stuff based on your show. But you got to realize like Alan Moore is anti. He's not he's not down with the capitalism, although he's made a lot of money off it. A lot of money off it. You know, it's weird. I don't understand. I've never understood. Art is the ultimate meritocracy. I never understood why so many artists are socialists and communists. It's like I don't know how that works. It might be a worldview thing, but yeah, I think the best thing for art is free market. I don't think in any other system we would get a Star Wars or a Beatles or a Pink Floyd. I just they wouldn't happen. I mean, and those are facts. I mean, there's no other system where there'd be that much extra. You know, it's surpluses. When you learn about ancient civilizations, they didn't start like building cities and stuff until they had surpluses, until they knew where their next meal was coming from and stuff, you know. So, I mean, all this argument over all this istophobia and gender, blah, 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 is the byproduct of a very affluent, bored society. Hello from Mother Russia. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. You weren't supposed to say anything. Oh, now I'm exposed. Gary exposed. There's my Russian connection right there. I have been downvoting The Last Jedi for the last 2 years. It was me, and I gotta translate that. Is this translatable? Because I can't read Russian. Do you pronounce the backwards N like an N? Is it Hinkenta? Hinkenta? Let's find out. I don't mean to disrespect your name. Translate. Nikita. Well, is that like John in Russia? Nikita. What's up, Nikita? Thank you for the 40 rubles. Hello from Russia. Are you waiting for the Mandalorian? I am. Has it come out yet? Mandalorian trailer. I am waiting for it to drop. Oh, it dropped 23 minutes ago. All right. Well, I'm going to finish up these super chats and get on to my trailer reaction. 200 watt studio, $5. Tom said on Twitter with the picture early construction on the ECV 197 on stage 15. I'll have to look at it because I might have just said something I shouldn't have. Don't say anything. Shh. Don't tell him, please. I really did sign an NDA. I didn't say anything specific, so I think I'll be okay, but sorry. Cesario JPN for $5. To think a children's charity parody special, Curse of the Fatal Death, had the best so far female doctor, Joanna Lumley, could have used her. Absolutely. Absolutely. Orville Nation, $5. As John Lamar would say, 150K, boom, B. That's what I'm talking about. That's right. Orville Nation, thank you very much. Detritus for $5. I just ordered Spearhead from Space and Series 4 on Blu-ray from BBC pulls then off before BBC pulls them off the shelf thanks to Twitter tears. Pertwee will get erased. He will. Buy it. You will enjoy it. It's brilliant. Formerly Rod Line for $1.99. Storm didn't turn into Thor, so why would Jane? Right? Jane, or Beta Ray Bill. James Glass, $2. Any of the Phase 4 Marvel movies will any of the Phase 4 Marvel movies lose money? That is a great question. I don't think so. I think the one that's in the most danger is Eternals. I think people are going to hate the Eternals. I just think they're going to hate the Eternals. Black Widow is going to do okay because it's not made for very much, but you're going to start seeing very mediocre responses to mediocre films. Scott Williams for $5. Congratulations on 150K. Keep kicking the Hollywood lowlifes in the posteriors. Language edited for YouTube Morels. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. Christian Stoleski for Australian $2. Lucasfilm removed my Twitter of the leaks. They did? F them. You send it to me. I'll retweet your stuff. If you give me screenshots, I'll do it. Screw them. I don't care about Twitter. They can erase my Twitter tomorrow. I mean, hey, we just passed 10,000 followers and that's cool, but Twitter's bad. Twitter's bad. Lucasfilm remove T Stoney for $5. Gary, did you hear about Captain Robert April's car accident? I did. He and his wife are okay. Car totaled, lost. Oh no. He lost his cat. There's a GoFundMe. I will put it up on my Twitter. I got to get through this because I got to get to that trailer reaction. But if one of my mods could please put Captain Robert April's GoFundMe in the chat, I would greatly appreciate that, please. Bluegate 37, $5. That goes to Captain Robert April. I think he's on disability. It's hard for him or impossible for him to get work, and yeah, he's not rolling in dough, but he's a good Fandom Menace member and a good Star Trek fan. Bluegate 37 for $5. If you realize woke is another way to say stupid, it all makes sense. It really, that's so good. That's so perfect. JJ Killer XX for $10. Do you have any hopes for the Game of Thrones prequels? I may be an optimistic person, but I like to believe that the backlash Dumb and Dumber caused will encourage those who come next to do better. I think it will, and they actually made allusions to that. I did a video on that. Jane Goldman is running right now one of the prequel pilots. It has not been ordered to series, and I think that says a lot that it is done shooting. They are in post-production, and it has not been ordered to series. Jane Goldman co-wrote Kingsman, though. Kingsman's good. So I don't know. The other prequel about the Targaryens and dragons and stuff, that's going to be monumentally expensive, and that's going to take somebody with a deep knowledge of fantasy lore. And they're not going to do that right now. They're not hiring for meritocracy. So unless there is, because they're going to hire a woman to run it if they haven't already, they need to find a woman who knows her fantasy. They exist out there, but it's not just a woman who knows her fantasy. It's a woman who knows her fantasy. And I'm not talking about that kind of fantasy. Stop it. And who knows her sci-fi and fantasy, who knows the right HBO execs and Warner Brothers execs to get the job. It's not like they're going across a broad field. All of these diversity hires are the friends of the execs. It's still happening. They're not diversifying Hollywood at all. Hollywood is they're the ultimate gatekeepers. Why do you think those unions exist? They don't exist to protect jobs. Well, they do. They exist to keep people away. Riff Magos for Australian $2. Congratulations on 150 subs. You deserve it. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Nicholas Horton for £2. Gary, congratulations on reaching 150K. Thank you. Per Audacia. Oh, this is like Latin, isn't it? Per Audacia ad ignotum for $5. I don't know what I just said. I could say I am a complete idiot in Latin. Disney, remember, in space, no one can hear you beat a dead horse. Ooh. Oh, I like that one. Garcus Bloodlust for $5. Would you agree Game of Thrones and Dune are adult versions of The Lord of the Rings and Star Wars with more gray characters, adult themes, and complex narratives? I would hope so. The answer is yes, they are. Lord of the Rings. I guess it's a kid's story, but it's a really complex one. And when you get into the lore, it's even better when you get to the background. Oh, I just love it. But yeah, it's like, yeah, Lord of the Rings. My favorite story is a kid's story. Yeah. So what? Sean Thompson, $20. But you're right. They are more complex. They have more great characters, and they are wonderful. Game of Thrones, the Song of Ice and Fire is brilliant. I love it. I love even the books that people don't like. I love it. Sean Thompson for $20. Hail, Gary. What's the deal with Star Wars movie ending leak having to do with some picture? I haven't been keeping up lately. Grats on 150K. The leak, the pictures that I saw that I think you're referring to, thank you for the $20, are of Palpatine. And of Reylo, basically. Confirming Reylo. Trevor RN for Canadian $2. Congrats, you talentless shill hack. Hashtag Phantom Menace. And no truer of a super chat has ever been given. You are correct. Canadian $2. I don't know. I don't understand. And I'm not going to question it. I'm just going to enjoy it. because I think I'm going to wake up someday. Blue Gate 37, $2 under. I'm going to wake up someday under that bush I used to live at in front of a Long John Silver's in Encinitas in the 80s. Yes, I used to be homeless. I used to be a homeless drug addict. Lord of the Rings, which, you know what? That's why I say, and I'm not a religious person, but that's why I say, God bless America. This is a great country, because I was a homeless person. I had no future. I had no skills. And through some determination, through work, through help, with help from people who love me, like my family, my friend Doug out there, my friend Terry. These are people who stuck their necks out for a guy with no skills and trained and got me a job, did a lot of things, were instrumental in my life. Scott Edwards, that's another person who was instrumental in my life. And I am eternally grateful to them. And here I am in San Francisco, married to the best wife in the world, 2 great kids. Not the best city in the world. I could be in a better place, but I'm in a house that the bank doesn't mostly own anymore. I mostly own it now. So yeah, it's cool. Adam Wolford for $5. I just found this on Facebook. Lebanese anti-government protesters wearing Joker face paint. I guess the media isn't getting violence that they wanted. Whoa, really? Really? That's interesting. I think the V for Vendetta mask has just been replaced. Bummer. Well, DC wins either way. Reading The Boys before I watch it, loving the art. It is so beautiful and fantastic. I will pass that on to Derek because it really is. I can't wait to watch the show too. Love you. Congrats, Gary. Thank you, Mary Ashmead. Love you too. Loquacious Primate, my good friend, my dear friend, $10. Art is interesting in that ideally it is a meritocracy and it is a commodity. But if its primary purpose is simply making the most money, we don't get the art unless something deeper is behind it. True. You're absolutely, yes. What's behind art is self-expression. And true art is art you make for yourself. And if it sells, fine, or you just keep it for some form of expression. But yes, you are correct, sir. Art is the ultimate form of self-expression. In my humble opinion, I think music, being able to play an instrument or write music, classical music, is like the highest form of art to me. Just because it's more moving, deeply moving. That's all. Speaking of awesome, I got to geek out. Hang on just a second. Here, I'll just get up. Pull one of these out because I was blown away at these. I didn't know I existed. I'm a huge soundtrack nerd. These are the greatest soundtracks ever produced. These are colored vinyl, book edition, Howard Shore, Lord of the Rings. I've got all 3 volumes, Return of the King. This is the best presentation I've ever seen of a soundtrack. And it's done like a book. And again, they're colored discs. I haven't broken open yet. Oh, these things are awesome. They're so brilliant. I think you can get them on Amazon, but the first one's like already collectible and way gone. All right. I've got to go do a trailer reaction. Grimy gets one in for Australian $5. Gary, your story is an inspiration to anyone who finds themselves in a dark place. Why, thank you. One of the promises I made is if we hit 20,000 with the Nasab Dean's GoFundMe, I would tell my AA story. So I'm going to do it this weekend. It's not going to stay on the channel. It will not be turned into a podcast or anything. It's a story I've told 100 times before, but I did promise. And it's also a way to basically self-dox. So nobody can use any dirt to hang over my head because I will spill it all. I'll just spill it all because it doesn't matter. People know my name. I'm not too worried about that stuff. I'm not too worried about that. So thank you everybody for joining. Go check out the Mandalorian trailer and my reaction will be up in about an hour. I got to cut it and upload it. It takes forever. But it'll probably take like 20 minutes to cut. And then, so my Star Wars video is I'm definitely doing the Game of Thrones video in the morning. And then I got to do a Watchmen review. So I'm going to be very busy. And then I got a Star Wars video. And then I've got Exozone tomorrow. And then there's the Nerdrotic Nooner on Wednesday, Friday Night Tights with author Stephen Walton of the Fandom Menace. We're also, who else is going to be on? Maybe we can get, we'll get other people on. We'll have a lot of guests. We'll have Jeremy on. Thank you again. We will do a proper 100. This was like impromptu. We're going to do a proper 150,000 celebration on Wednesday, so we can, so some of our European friends can join, and some of our, West Coast and East Coast and Canadian, Australian friends can join, just to have another one, because this is a big milestone. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. My last video, please check it out. I don't know if I'm going to keep it up. It got crushed. The algorithm just crapped all over it, and I'm a little bummed about that. But this Game of Thrones gift just came, so we'll see how that does. Everybody, be good to each other. Have a great night, and I will see you very, very soon. Oh, wait. Oh, somebody gets something in there in the last minute. Look at how you are. JPRPH1. Congratulations, Gary, on 150K. The first video I saw of yours was your Jodie Whittaker video review of the pilot, and up until then, I had not seen a live stream or chat. Thanks for opening this all up to me. Blessings. JPRPH1, thank you for the $19.99. Right, YouTube's the best. It's the best form of entertainment. Honestly, we don't need this shit. We'll just watch, each other. That's all. And that's it. They can't compete against that, because this stuff is not expensive. Chris Stanley for $5. Congrats, Gary. Again, Gary, thank you very much. Josh Nelson for $5. I don't understand why Disney would aim Star Wars at kids and not nerds. I'll see the movie multiple times and buy more merch than parents if the movie is good, right? Josh, yes. The thing is, you can make it for both, because it was made for both. Star Wars wasn't a kid's movie. Okay, it was not a kid's movie. A kid's movie wouldn't have done as well. So thank you again. We'll go out with some music, and everybody be cool. Oh, and not all who wander. Oh, I got to get to my, there we go. Is that right? Hang on a second. There we go. Not all who wander are lost. Adam Child, you snuck one in there. For $5, thanks for remembering your first 150,000 subs as you are becoming big time. Glad to know you care about all of us. If you ever need anything, let me know. Adam, right back at you. If you can't get a hold of me, just be persistent. Mrs. Nerdrotic will find a way. She usually sees my messages too. Everybody, again, have a great night. I am already starting to work on the Mandalorian trailer, and take it easy.